Boom! Shots fired overnight. Volodymyr Zelensky with the little man syndrome. He fired his missiles, U.S.-made missiles, U.S.-provided missiles into the interior of Russia. That's a no-no. He was told, he was warned. What's coming next? I want to talk about that. I want to dig deep into the interior of Russia, like Volodymyr Zelensky has done now. Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. We're going to get into it in a moment. Before we do, let me remind you to leave us a 5-star rating and a review. Go to where podcasts are offered. That's the spot you do that in. You can do it over at Spotify. You can do it at Apple Podcasts. You just get over there and you know, because I know you've already subscribed, right? So you go over into your library, you hit Chad Prather Show, and then you scroll, get below a couple of comments, and they'll give you an opportunity to go, bing, 5 stars, doesn't cost you a thing. Leave a little comment, say, I love how good Chad looks in those new leather, pleather, fake, faux, animal skin chairs. And I do look amazing. Even my double chin. Look at that old man gullet right there. I shouldn't pull that too much. It's gonna stick. This weekend, I'm gonna be in Oklahoma City, Bricktown Comedy Club. Thursday night, 1 show. Friday night, 2 shows. Saturday night, 2 more shows. I think they're 7:30 and 9:30. So come out. Jesse Payton's gonna be with me as well. Then we got a bunch of stuff going on. Mark on your calendar, East Texas. My buddy Shy Blakeman's got an incredible comedy club, brand new venue. Going to be one of the first shows in there. New Year's Eve, 5 comics. It is Chad Prather's Comedy Countdown, New Year's Eve, Tyler, Texas. WatchChad.com where all the fun stuff is. Oh boy, there's things I want to get into. What should I do? You know what? Let's do this first before we get into World War III and we start talking about, sweeping up the ashes, which used to be our lives. Let's get into a Chad's ad. I know these are the things that you love so much. Oh boy, howdy. Since the world is melting down and we're living in this unique point of time in history, well, let's just call it a new era. We could be optimistic with a new hope, with a new president, new policies, and new cabinet, all kind of new administration, and just stuff that could lead us into freedom and liberty. Or we might just be like Sarah Connor in the Terminator movie here pretty soon, just melting away because of World War III. I'm confident. Honestly, I'm optimistic. But you can't let your guard down, folks, and I hope that you have not done that. I hope you have not taken anything for granted. That's why I want to make sure that you've got your emergency food kits from My Patriot Supply. You know my special website, preparewithchad.com. I love that vanity website. Right now, you can get their 3-month emergency food kit shipped directly to your door discreetly in as little as 1 day. In fact, if you place your order before 3 o'clock, they'll ship it out same day. It comes with, and you don't normally associate World War III with things like a creamy stroganoff or honey wheat bread or chili mac. Delicious meals, 2,000 calories a day. But you know what? You might as well enjoy the apocalypse to the best of your ability. And you know what? You don't even have to nuke that food. It comes already radiated with a little Russian warhead. So I want you guys seriously to get that kit that's going to last 25 years in proper storage. It is my emergency food supply go-to, and it is delicious. We don't know what the future holds, but you can know that your future is prepared at preparewithchad.com. Order that 3-month emergency food kit right now from My Patriot Supply. That is preparewithchad.com. You don't even need a promo code. Just head over there and do some shopping. All right. Before we get into, let's get back to the stuff that has immediate consequences, okay? Like if you're on camera, on a microphone, and you use words that the woke people out there don't like. They come after you, and they will do everything to cancel you, destroy you, demonetize you, fine you, eradicate you from culture and society. LaMelo Ball was being interviewed after a game in the NBA. A lot of you, do you guys remember the Ball brothers? Remember when Donald Trump got the Ball brothers, got them out of China or wherever they were, and bailed them out, but they had no love for Donald Trump. This is one of those Ball brothers. This is a clip. He just got fined $100,000. Slip of the lip, get you hung by the tongue. There's Royce. Royce, welcome to the show, my brother. I'm fixing to bring you on this thing. Listen, this has got to be the gayest clip I've ever seen. Okay, Royce, where'd you go? Go back in. Come back, Royce. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. There he is.
I'm right here, man.
My bad. I'm confusing everybody. Can you hear me? You still got audio on me?
Yeah. We got you.
All right, good. I went out in my own ear, so it's fine. I love making this up as we go. Woo. I like this new screen, too. The screen looks good. I can see.
Right.
I can see some people talking. I can see the comments up there. That's nice. But this has got to be the gayest clip I've ever seen. This is the kind of thing that'll get you a $100,000 fine from the NBA because they're heterophobic. They hate straight people. They're scared to death of the gay brigade. They're scared to death of the LGBTQ plus 2A whatever alphabet army that's out there that will protest you. And God forbid the KY patrol will come out there and come after your career. Here we go. LaMelo Ball had this to say in a post-game interview. Play the clip.
You said that last play when he took the shot? Yeah, we loaded up. No, that's what we wanted. Put the hand up and then just live with the. You said that last play?
No homo. This thing right here. Okay, so he got fined for using the phrase, what was it, Royce?
No homo.
No homo.
He got fined $100,000.
He should have waited 60 days. If he'd have waited till Trump was in office, he probably could have said no homo. 100,000, that's a gay-ass fine. That is a gay-ass fine.
Oh, my God.
To get $100,000. You know, my friend Larry the Cable Guy, he told me years ago, I wrote a poem that I should do on this show. I've never done it publicly. Years ago, I wrote a poem to the night before Christmas about a gay Santa. And I sent it to Larry the Cable Guy. I said, this is hilarious. I'm not going to use it or put it out. Can you send it to a comedian who would? And my gay agent at the time, he loved it. He used to go to his gay Christmas parties and read it. And everybody loved it. Because, again, normal people know how to laugh at themselves. But Larry the Cable Guy, he texted me back and he said, well, I can't use it. He said, it's a Christmas deal. He said, next time I go after the gays, it won't be seasonal. Because they tried to destroy his career for making jokes that involved, the word gay in it. You remember when Kevin Hart said that talking about his son was playing with dollhouses when he was 10 years old and afraid his kid was gay or whatever. And they went after him because, again, it was like a 10-year-old joke tweet that he put out. So they go after you for this stuff. So I want to suggest that everybody avoid this drama going forward, and I have a solution for everyone in the world if they're being interviewed on TV or whatever, and they're just talking to your friends. Like if you're at your buddy's house and you're in his man cave, and you're like, dude, I love this room, no homo. Like that couch over there looks really comfortable, no homo. Or, bro, I like those jeans you're wearing. What are they? No homo. I have a new saying for all of us, Royce. Here's what it is. No Obama. No Obama.
Interesting. Can you elaborate the meaning on that, please?
Yeah, he's gay.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That makes more sense. That's right.
We just say no Obama because he's gay.
That goes for both the Obamas, actually.
Well, that's true. That is true.
Works both ways.
I still say they killed their chef. They killed off their chef.
Oh, yeah.
Allegedly. He hit his head on a paddleboard 100 yards from the front door of their Martha's Vineyard mansion. If for those of you who don't know, the Obama chef. Now, he was 42, 43 years old, the picture of health. He'd learned how to swim. He was a great athletic-looking fella. But I always contend that the chefs know everything because they hear everything. They're in the center of the house. And I think one night that chef was cleaning up the kitchen, and he heard Barack and Michelle getting it on through the bedroom door. And in the middle of cleaning the pots and pans, he heard Barry yell, "Hawk Tua."
Oh, God. Hawk Tua jokes, man.
Well, because, Big Mike has a never mind. And Barry had to Hawk Tua. There it is. And so they had to 86 the chef. They had to get rid of him, and bam. But, I mean, you say that, but you look how much they've swept that under the rug. That's just accident. He hit his head on a paddleboard. Did he, though? You got to hit your head pretty damn hard on a paddleboard. But no, that's pretty damn gay. But $100,000, that's what that will get you. Speaking of gay things, you know what else is gay? We'll talk about World War III. That's gay. Oh, and I'm convinced Vladimir Zelensky's gay too. He's got a cute wife, but does he? And this was the last you heard of the Chad Prather Show.
Yeah, for real, man. I'm sweating over here. YouTube's about to take us down, man.
I know. We might get in trouble. But this is what. But I'm never wrong. I'm never wrong, YouTube. I know that the Google overlords are out there. So here's the thing. Here is what Congresswoman Mace from South Carolina. Just pop that thing up there. This was the first. If they don't want us to talk about it, then why do they put it in the news? They put it in the news. We have to talk about it, right? So this is Harry Sisson. Harry Sisson, who again, right there on the tip of my tongue, Royce. I want to say another thing about
you got it, man. You can self-control. You got it. We're working on it, guys. We're working on it. There
it is. Sarah McBride, the first transgender member of Congress, in response to her election, Republican Nancy Mace introduced a bill targeting her and what bathroom she uses. Straight up bigotry and bullying. I support Rep-elect McBride, and I hope you do too. Well, Harry, you don't have daughters that have to deal with a biological male taking a piss in the bathroom with your daughters. I do have daughters. I have 3 beautiful daughters, and I don't like the idea of a man being in their locker room or being in their shower or being in their. You got to give it to these transgender people, though. They hide it well. Like, I wouldn't, just based on that picture right there, I wouldn't know. This is scary.
It is scary, man. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
This is why I've sworn off relationships, Royce. This is why I refuse to, I'm done. If I'm single, I'm single. That's it. That's how I live. That's how I die. I'm going into eternity single. Because I don't know. I might fall off the wagon one day and have a little relapse and take a shot of tequila, or maybe somebody's going to roofie my club soda, and the next thing I know, I'm waking up with that. Because we already know, Royce, that men's IQ drops when they get sexually aroused. The testosterone does crazy things to our brains, and so we become less intelligent if we get a little honk. And so you never know. I'm like, that person has like tender, little, gentle, slender hands. I mean, how do you get shoulders on a dude like that?
What do you mean, small shoulders?
Just shoulders, just narrow, and those arms. That's like a feminine build. Like, the longer I look. Estrogen.
Yeah.
I don't want any of that.
I
don't want to do any of that.
It's a lack of the gym and eating all the wrong foods. So you don't have any masculine.
Scroll it higher. I want to get a full shot of this dude here. Go a little higher, a little bit higher on the picture, Royce, so I can get it out of the way of the camera there. I just want to see both arms.
I
see.
See
what I'm saying? I just want to. Yeah. Okay. Let's scroll it. I see it now. I see it. Like, sort of has the underarm jiggle fat like some women get.
Oh my God.
Listen, God bless the jiggle fat. I like women to be soft and tender and round and, all the curves. I like that. That's a man.
Chad,
but anyway.
I have a request. Can we not analyze transgender women anymore? Can we stop observing photos of trans women and analyzing them?
I can start after the longer I look at this guy, I see the jawline. I see that it's okay. Like, I don't know. A lot of makeup. Oh, wow. Anyway, yeah, we can stop.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, yeah. But anyway, so Harry Sisson he fully supports his ability that guy's ability to pee in the bathroom with the women. It's disturbing. It is disturbing. Oh, Royce.
Would they have to start installing urinals in women's bathrooms?
Well, did you see that clip? I posted it on Twitter, and I don't know that I put it over on Instagram, where this guy that sort of looked like the sloth from the Goonies, but he had grown his hair out. He was like, his eye was like lower than the other eye.
Oh, yeah.
Looked like he'd been punched around a little bit. And he said, I will pee or whatever. I will use the women's restroom and none of you can stop me. And I was like, looks like your head's already been boxed around a little bit.
Sounds like an evil criminal.
Yeah. I mean, that's
sounds
the
like
deal.
a supervillain.
So let me put it to you this way. So there's a guy in this area, this local area near where I live, north of Houston. He recently got in trouble because he went into his place of business. He didn't own the business, but he worked there. And he suspected in a unisex bathroom, he suspected that someone was doing cocaine off the sink and off the toilets. So secretly, he set up cameras in there so he could, quote, catch them doing it. Now, this was not his business. This was not nothing like that. But he set up some cameras, like an iPhone or whatever, so he could observe the bathroom. Now, if I float that idea past you, that's criminal. That's a crime. Like, that's not a good thing. You should go to jail for that. That is, and it's getting into somebody's privacy in a big way. I understand that you're using something digital. You're using a tool to spy on people. I mean, the Obamas did that with the Trumps, but beside the point, I know you're using a device to do it, but what would you rather have? Somebody using a device or someone physically in the room with you who is capable of assault, who is capable of touching? You know what I mean? And all of these things. I look at stuff like that and I'm like, this is how they try to justify this is beyond nonsensical at this point, trying to justify that insanity. So we laugh at it, but if these people had their way, this is what we talk about when we say toxic empathy. This like, listen, I feel for you that you have this identity issue going on in your life and you don't believe that you are in the right body and you want to, I get that. Now, me personally, I think you're dealing with a mental issue that needs a lot of help. But I feel for you for that reason. That's a malady that I'm sorry you're going through that. But the first step to getting the help you need is admitting that you need the help. If somebody's schizophrenic, I feel for that person. If somebody has a psychosis, if someone is claustrophobic or agoraphobic or has a fear of heights or just a fear of people or they're introverted or they have dyslexia or, just name your malady. If somebody's got one leg shorter than the other, all right, I feel for you. That's a plight that you have to deal with. But I shouldn't have to deal with it, right? I feel for you, but this shouldn't become my burden to deal with. I shouldn't have to look over my shoulder when I'm simply trying to take a piss on who's in the room with me. Like, I know for me personally, Royce, I don't know how you feel about this, buddy, but like if I'm in a big bathroom publicly and there's a bunch of urinals on the wall and I walk over to one, we always have the no homo unit between us, right? Oh, I lost your volume, Royce. See if you.
My fault. There's rules to the urinal.
There's rules to the urinal. There's rules.
Yes.
There's rules to the. There's rules to the theater seat. You go to the theater with your buddy. You don't sit right next to him. Like in the old school theater. I'm not talking about these big lounger recliner deals that they have that vibrate your body when the Death Star explodes. I'm not talking about those with the tray and the beer holders and all that. But there's the theater seat. That's a no Obama rule right there. You keep the seat between you to let everybody know we're not on a date. Like, we're not here together. So we have the no Obama seat. There's the no Obama urinal between us. So if I'm at the football game and I'm peeing in this urinal and all these others are opened up and you walk up right next to me, you just violated a bro code right there. You went bro code, no Obama. You violated the whole thing. You got very Obama in that moment. So, I certainly don't want to. Now, I've been in the bathroom. Have you been in the bathroom when a guy in a dress comes in and hikes it up and pisses in the urinal?
I've not, but I was gonna bring this. I was gonna bring this up. I was in New York one time, and I went to a Starbucks. It was the big roastery Starbucks or whatever it was, and they did not have men's and women's bathrooms. I don't know if you've seen this, probably, but they had. It was a multiple gender bathroom, right? Unisex bathroom, where basically everybody went into one room, giant sink trough that went in a circle in the middle. And all along the walls were very private restrooms. And I want to get your opinion because I don't know how to feel about it. I almost don't mind it because it was more privacy than any normal bathroom.
Yeah.
You basically went into your own room. It wasn't the weird little 3-wall where anybody can peek in thing. It was your own room. You close the door, you walk out, and all that's out there is the sinks. That's it.
For me personally, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me because
I felt like it was better because the privacy was more.
Yeah, because I've been in a situation like that. Like for me personally, I can't speak for how a woman would feel about that. But for me personally, nobody's threatening me in that situation. And I'm also not in there getting turned on by watching somebody of the opposite sex wash their hands and dry them on a towel. Like that's not my fetish. I don't know that I have a fetish, actually. I should put some thought into that, maybe. That's too late for me. I'm just saying that's not my thing. So, there's a little restaurant wine bar deal here where I live, this kind of uppity frou-frou. And you go down the hallway, and they don't have men's and women's restrooms. They have individual lavatories that you go in and shut the door, and they're unisex, right? They're unisex. Now, if I'm a woman, let me just say, I'm in a lot of airports. Every week I'm in an airport, or I'm in a truck stop bathroom. Men, and I know women are too, because I've heard, but men don't know how to aim, okay? They just don't know how to not dribble. Like I've had to find myself like tiptoeing. Sometimes when I take my boots off, like I make sure not to touch the bottom of the boot because I know where my boots have been. And I've had to tiptoe.
I think that goes for any shoe.
Any shoe.
Any shoe. You don't touch the bottom.
Yeah, and I've just had to tiptoe over people's piss pools because guys. So as a woman, I can't imagine. That's the only thing that I would see would be a qualm with that is I can't imagine going into a bathroom where there was, a guy had to pee on the seat, and guys do pee on the seat. Like I think about that every time I go into the lavatory of a bathroom. Is like, okay, I wonder how many dudes on this plane are truly lifting this seat. These poor women, they've perfected the art of the hover. They don't want to touch anything, and I don't blame them. And so anyway, there's just so many sanitary issues and just the sharing of not only personal space and the threats of it. And I know what people say. They're like, oh, really? You're going to tell me women are getting attacked in their bathrooms by these guys that are wearing blah, 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 by a transgender woman? That's their phrases, not mine. Again, it shouldn't even be an option. It shouldn't be an option, right? A woman's space should be a woman's space, and vice versa. If I'm in the man cave, stay out. I mean, I will say this. I'll go so far as to say there should be places in this country that are 100% uniquely women's spaces. Their dressing rooms, their locker rooms, their sports, their bathrooms. There should be women's spaces. And there are people who say, oh, but you got unisex bathrooms in your house. No, yep, that's my house. It's my house. And these facetious arguments that they use to talk like this, Google overlords, is not hate speech. It's common sense. It's common sense. Women should be a protected class in our society. But by that, I don't mean that they should get freebies. And also by that, I don't mean that they should just have, carte blanche to say and do anything they want to do. But they should be protected. And that's just the man coming out of me. So anyway. Harry Sisson. Harry Sisson, never mind. I'll get us banned.
Please don't.
You know, I just figure might as well get it all out before World War III happens.
That's true.
All right, let's talk about it. Before we get into it, Royce, we knew that as soon as Joe Biden, as Kamala Harris says, Joe Biden gave permission to Zelensky to launch a U.S. missile into the interior of Russia, we knew he would do it because he can't help himself. He needs an escalation. He needs an escalation because he knows that the funding is about to run out and run dry. To the degree that they can keep America involved in this, they must do that because that manipulative little prick has got to make sure the cash keeps flowing. So for whatever reason, Joe gave him the permission to do it. Zelensky, we knew he was going to do it because he wants this thing to escalate. He knew he couldn't fire his missiles or anybody else's missiles. He knew that Vladimir Putin had already said he would have the option to use nuclear weapons against not only Ukraine, but anybody who supplied them with the weapon. So he knew he had to have U.S. involvement. By launching a U.S. missile, that's what he did. Tells me a lot about Zelensky. A, he doesn't care about his own people because now retribution is coming. They will respond in some form or fashion, whether it's nuclear or not. Russia will respond. Now, overnight, Zelensky fired 6 missiles, U.S. missiles, into the interior of Russia. And we've got... Russia says, this is CNBC, Russia says Ukraine attacked it using U.S. long-range missile signal it's ready for nuclear response. Now, let me tell you, folks, what that means. That means there will be a response. Will it be nuclear? I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what exactly that looks like. But I can tell you, I've been to Russia. The only thing that country ever spent its money on, especially during the Cold War, was its weapons. That's all they have. That's all they have. That's all they have. They didn't. Communists don't spend it on their infrastructure. They don't spend it on clean water. They don't spend it on protecting the environment. They don't try to upgrade their roads. They don't worry about their trains or their planes. Anybody that's ever flown Aeroflot, which is the national airline of Russia. I got on an Aeroflot flight one time, Royce, and pulled the seatbelt over to attach it while chickens and goats were running past me. True story. Imagine being on a commercial flight and chickens and goats are running up and down the aisle. I went to pull the seatbelt and it just snapped off.
In the plane. Wait.
In the plane.
In the plane. Chickens and goats.
In the plane. And
what is this airline called again?
Aeroflot.
Aeroflot.
Look it up. It's the national airline of Russia. Aeroflot. Aeroflot. For a number of years, they forbid Aeroflot from landing in the U.S. because their safety was so bad. They built those planes. Imagine having a commercial airline that they had it made so they could just pull those seats out at any given time and use them for troop transports if they needed to. So literally everything Russia's ever done, their money that was spent was done for the purpose of, is that a cat? I need to see the cat.
Dude,
is that a cat or a dog?
That is my cat.
Get the cat back up there.
Holy cat.
Where's the cat? I
Jack,
need to see
come
the
here.
cat.
Hold on 1 second.
How great is it that I start talking about chickens and goats in the airplane?
He's been trying to get at my strings the whole show.
I see that. That's funny. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
This is Jack, my cat.
Jack the cat.
That's him right there.
That's a good-looking cat. It's a
He's a good-looking cat. He's a little wild, though. This was
they
a
all
gift
are. It's because
for my wife. Yeah, exactly. Graham Allen, if you watch his, I know that you do, but hates cats, actually, with a passion.
Yeah.
So he despises the fact that I have a cat. But hey,
Yeah.
he's a little crazy. So yeah,
Well,
he's been
Graham
trying
wants-
to get at me this whole time.
Graham wants everybody to just be like Graham. That's how it is. I respect your decision to cut off your genitals and own a cat, whatever it takes. But that's a good-looking cat. Good-looking cat. I personally can't own one because I don't like them either. I like the idea of them. I used to have barn cats. I had Fat Baby and Not So Fat Baby. That was their names. That's how much energy we put into those names. But anyway, this deal right here. I was, everything Russia's ever spent has been directed towards their military. The first time I went there in 1994, I thought to myself, I'm on the train outside of Moscow going to a community called Zhelezhnodorozhny to speak and teach at a Russian school, which looked like a bombed out, cratered, hostel. It was horrible. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, the flag, they still had the sickle and hammer flags out there in those communities. And I'm like, the only thing they've ever spent money on is their military. And so they're serious about this. Vladimir Putin is serious about Russia. We saw that on the Tucker Carlson interview where he went off on 400 years of Russian history for 30, 40 minutes without skipping a beat. They know this stuff. He's serious about this. Putin is serious about this. Now, my question is, Royce, what are your thoughts? I mean, they said that they intercepted 5 of the 6. The 6th missile, the one that landed, that hit, been no casualties, which is, you never root for the loss of life, right? But you don't want that. But I think in the grand scheme of things, that is a positive deal. You've got that map of where it landed, right?
I do, yeah.
Pull that map up. Let's take a look at that. So it was southeast of Moscow. So there you see Ukraine. There you see Moskva. And the that's where the that's where the Nazis marched in on their way to Moscow. That is a interesting spot. They were going after, I think, a military installment that was there. Give me some preliminary thoughts, Royce. You've looked at this today. You've talked about this today over on Graham's show. Give me some preliminary thoughts of what your overview is. I believe that this is a BlackRock operation on our side of things. I believe that Russia will respond, and I'm going to tell you how I think Russia will respond in a minute. But give me your thoughts.
So I'm going to go off of what Graham talked about on this morning's show. I don't want to take full credit for this thought. But I strongly believe in it, and that's the fact that Joe Biden, whether or not it's him or whoever is pulling the strings, is trying to make things extremely hard for Donald Trump when he takes office.
Yeah.
Extremely hard. They want to make him a war president so that way he can't do anything else besides focus on this war, and he can't accomplish all the stuff that he said he was going to accomplish. It's straight sabotage. Yeah. It is what I feel the purpose of this is. Now, I actually find it a little bit alarming because, I mean, you talked about how much money Russia has put into their military and their armed forces. That one even hit. 6 rockets that they shot, and they got 5 of them down and 1 of them hit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to mess with Russia. I get it if they're trying to deter, like, hey, get out of our place, and that's why, Ukraine is fighting back so hard. But no, they're trying to attack back, and they hit them, and that's not good. In the same way, you don't want to poke the bull. In the same way that I feel that the left attacking Donald Trump means very, very bad things for them, in terms of they poked the bull, daddy's home, and your hand was caught in the cookie jar. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's happening here too. I think Russia is powerful. I don't think that they're a country that should be taken not seriously, taken lightly. I think that they have power and they have military. And the fact that sadly the U.S. is assisting in this brutal war that is going on, that hopefully not, but could potentially escalate into world war, where then we have to get involved. And, I talked about on Graham's show as well the other day, the fact that in World War II, the U.S. didn't get involved until Pearl Harbor. until it was a direct attack on us, we didn't get involved.
Right.
And that's just simply not the case here. And I can only imagine what happens when they do try to pull us in. And that's also what scares me. But I think with Donald Trump in office, things will go a lot differently than how they would if Kamala Harris would have won. Could you imagine?
No, I can't.
If you think about the fact that Trump did win and he's president-elect and they're still trying to pull this crap, imagine what they would have done day one, if Kamala Harris won. Because Hamas, different war going on, right?
Yep.
Trump won. Oh, we're going to back up. We're going to back up. The moments that they have left in office, this is what they're pulling. They're sending millions of dollars back to Ukraine. They're giving them permission to use long-range heavy missiles to attack Russia, which inevitably is just going to mean, more counterstrike. Like, Russia's not going to let this go. Vladimir Putin's not going to let this go. This is going to escalate. And I don't know what tomorrow looks like or the next day looks like, but I know that this is not good. There is nothing good about this.
There is nothing good about this. That is correct. That's a great analysis, Royce. That is phenomenal. I think you're exactly right on that. It brings up a couple of thoughts in my head. This is if they can make him focus, if they can make Trump focus on this escalation here, this is something that could have ramifications for the next 4 years. It makes him impotent and unsuccessful as president, and it gives them a leg up for 2028. Now, that's a lot could happen between now and 2028, but Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman from Georgia, she said there's no way they will let Trump take office. She tweeted that, I think, this morning. I said yesterday, this is the ultimate flipping the chessboard. They're basically pissed that they lost, and boom, we're just going to... And, part of me says because of the nature of this attack on the part of Ukraine, some of this was saber rattling just to say, we're launching it, but hey, and then they're going to point at America and say, but they were U.S. rockets. Another part of me says I truly believe that Putin is smarter than this. I think that there's probably been a little communication in some form or fashion. I think that Putin knows that this is not Trump. I think he's smart enough to know that the majority of America voted for Trump. I think he takes that stuff somewhat into consideration. He may not. Now, again, I'm not a Putin apologist. I think the guy's a monster. I think he's a murderous, horrible oligarch human being, if you even want to call him that. I think he loves death. He's an agent of death, and he's proven that his entire life. This guy is a killer. He is an absolute killer. But he loves Russia, and he's going to do what's in Russia's best interest. And self-assured destruction and mutual annihilation is not what's in the best interest for Russia. And so, I think that he's taking those things into account. Now, in spite of that, here's what I do think could happen. Is he going to drop a nuclear bomb and destroy a Ukrainian city? I don't believe that he is. I don't believe that's the tactic. Will there be a response? Yes. But there's other ways to use nuclear weapons. You can use a tactical nuke that is very precise, that just eliminates an area where conflict is happening. You can be very precise, very specific. I don't know if a legitimate tactical nuke has ever been used. I don't know that we've ever used one. I know that we've used the bunker busters. I know we've used a Moab, which is pretty damn close in terms of its radius of destruction and the sheer impact to what a nuclear bomb can do. We all remember when we dropped that in Afghanistan. Trump did that, and it was end of the world devastating. The power that people have at the fingertips of these world leaders is incredible. But again, a tactical nuke, you're getting into stuff in terms of what's released into the atmosphere. How well can you control the radiation? Yeah. All of those things, those become a point of discussion at this point. I foresee that type of response coming from Vladimir Putin quicker than saying, oh, we're just going to drop a big bomb on Kyiv, and then that's going to be the end of that city.
I could argue that for a second, because if you look at the reason why America claims that we have nuclear weapons in any other country, it's a deterrent. At any moment in time, these nukes, if we launch them, it means you're all gone. Not just a little, you're all gone. Everybody's gone. The world's destroyed and we all explode and that's it. Basically, because one nuke goes off from here, someone else launches their nukes and it's right. But that's really dark and that's really deep. But it's a deterrent. It's saying, hey, we have the power, so don't mess with us. I'd like to think that is Vladimir Putin's thought as well, considering the fact that if he's as crazy as people say, he hasn't nuked anybody yet. And he wants his land. The dude's, he's lasted this long wanting this land without nuking them. I would hope that it's just a deterrent to him. And that's when he comes out and says, hey, you're pushing the line with nuclear war here. He's hoping that they really back up because he has been known to be somewhat crazy and out there. And he has nukes. That's the scariest that you can be right there. Crazy and have nuclear power. I don't want to go near you.
No. And I'll say, we'll put it to you like this, to your point. If Kim Jong-un in North Korea had the nuclear capability and the ability to deliver it, he would have already done it because he's a nut job. If the Ayatollah in Iran had that ability, they probably would have already done it. They would be happy to drop a nuke on Israel. Tel Aviv would be just gone. If they could do that, if they could deliver that, they would do it. Russia, on the other hand, has been a little more sensible, as you say, because again, we're not dealing with jihadists. We're not dealing with people that have 72 virgins waiting on them on the other side. They understand that mutually assured destruction has some. That's the end of the culture and the country. But I will say, Vladimir Putin sees himself as an extension of Peter the Great. He sees himself an extension of Catherine the Great. For him, he is fulfilling his place in Russian history. And all of this conflict with Ukraine is all part of in his mind, his prophecy of how how Russia, Mother Russia, should be in charge. And we won't get into the details of the need for army, and he needs Ukrainian troops, he needs Ukrainian men to supply his own armies and those kind of things. Those things have been discussed. But yeah, this is a thing that I think the Democrats and the powers that be behind them, the evil cabals that are out there, we'll get into that in just 1 second, folks. They would rather see the destruction of America. They would rather burn in ashes and usher themselves straight into the pits of hell rather than have world peace. And you say, who in their right mind would do such a thing? Well, that's just it. They're not in their right mind. They're not in their right mind. Now, Matt Gaetz, future Attorney General of the United States, former congressman, he just resigned, former congressman from Florida. He just did an appearance last night on Timcast IRL, Tim Pool's podcast. I agree with him on this. Play this clip.
I think that the reason we are as involved in Ukraine as we are is because Afghanistan wound down. And if we still had Afghanistan to launder money through, there probably wouldn't be the need for this type of excessive involvement in Ukraine. But I think we can look at Afghanistan and we can look at what's going on here and say what a lot of these defense contractors are pushing toward is how to have an extended kind of low yield war. Like if there's a way to stretch this thing out, turn it into a 20, 30 year kind of thing where there's a whole lot of money moving around and unaccountable pots and a lot of weapons getting bought. And then, oh man, the stockpiles, well, we got to spend more money to reload those. I think that the reason we are as involved in Ukraine as we are is because.
So there you go. So I don't think that comes as a surprise to anybody watching or listening to this show. The money laundering has got to be maintained. This is how governments make money. This is the easy way. I'll put it this way. It's the easy tit to suck on, okay? This is the way you do it. You launder the money. You feed the war machine. This is why This is why we floated ideas like weapons of mass destruction in Iraq that weren't there, and everybody was happy to go after Saddam Hussein after 12 Saudi Arabians attacked New York City and Washington, D.C. It didn't make any sense. From a guy who was in an Afghan cave that we wound up supposedly killing in Pakistan. But the only person that got beheaded was Saddam Hussein, because we had to fight Daddy Bush's war. And then we stayed in the Middle East for 22 years until Joe Biden decided in a debacle evacuation to not disable our equipment, not disable $80 billion worth of American-made military equipment in Afghanistan, leave it fully functional for them to use, and we just pulled everybody out. We lost 13 service members at the airport in a terrorist attack, and it's all been a debacle. They've never. This has been mishandled for the last 25 freaking years, but they do it to feed the war machine. It is the easiest tit to suck. It's the easiest access for the governmental financial milk to flow, and this is what they love. And if they can keep this going, and I'm telling you, this is where the Lockheeds and all of these, they love it because it funnels the money. Ultimately, it comes because BlackRock and Vanguard and all of these people who handle the world's wealth, they have to make sure that that wealth continues to flow, that they have the money to invest and place where they want it to be. It is evil. It is sick. It is disgusting. It is the nature of man. If you've ever read your Bible, this is the nature of man. If you've ever read a legitimate history book, particularly about the development of the civilization that we call Western civilization, it's all about man's inhumanity to man. It goes all the way back to when Cain slew his brother Abel with a rock in the Garden of Eden and was cast out. Jacob and Esau, David versus Saul, the devil versus Jesus. I mean, the Romans versus the Apostle Paul. All of this stuff. You read the book of Revelation. This is all one big good versus evil. We know that ultimately good has already conquered and won. I contend to you and proclaim Jesus is Lord, Christ is King, and he has won that battle. But I'm telling you, the physical battles that are going on are outcroppings of the spiritual battle that we see in the Bible. And I'm just telling you, these people are evil. Go back and read Romans 3, where it talks about, the feet are swift, to run, to shed blood. And that's what we're seeing happen. They don't care about you. They don't care about, they don't care about our podcasts and or anything that we have to say. We're living in the days of evil Judas sold his soul. Judas betrayed Christ for 30 pieces of silver. That's why my prayer today, I prayed out of Psalm 91, that men are worthless, but God is the one who will take care of everything. And so I'm like, Lord, eradicate from the face of the earth the people who oppose your kingdom work. Let your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And today, day 45, the prayer was all about that, eliminating the enemies of peace. Listen, I'm all for blessing those that persecute me and not cursing them. But at some point in time, we got to pray those warfare prayers. And you want peace on earth, we got to pray those warfare prayers. And I'll get preachy with you real quick on this deal, because the Psalms are chock full of the psalmist David saying, God, prepare my hand for war, prepare my mind for battle, prepare my heart for battle. We're going into this thing. We fight not against flesh and blood, but powers and principalities, rulers of the darkness of air. I'm just telling you, we're in a spiritual battle. But these manifestations, these outcroppings that we're seeing, these people are energized by demons. They're energized by the devil. Satan prowls around like a lion seeking whom he can devour. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, John 10. I'm telling you, what we're seeing played out in our world today is real, man. They don't care about the loss of human life. And it's your responsibility to be a good steward of your life, your family's life, your city, your state, your nation. And we got to be praying corporately And man, I'm at a point now where I want their strategies exposed, whether it's BlackRock, Vanguard, the federal government. I said to somebody on Facebook earlier today who was coming at me about the separation of church and state, and because I've got the Make America Pray or Make America Pray Again. And when I put that on a shirt, I said, that's my prayer. God, make America pray again. I'm not saying I want it legislated. I'm not saying I want a bureaucrat telling me that I have to pray. I want God to make America pray again. And somebody said, oh, so much for, the state determining your religion. You got a freedom of religion. I was like, listen, dingbat, if you don't understand the sentiment, all the explanation in the world ain't going to explain it to you. And for the record, Almighty God does not play within the confines of the U.S. Constitution. God makes the rules. Yes, he provided, I believe providentially, through his guiding hand and the wisdom of our founding fathers, a constitution that I think is almost should be canonized. I mean, it's close to inspired like the Bible is. And I'm not saying that it is, but I'm saying it is a divine work that God used human hands to create. Our Constitution is amazing. But God ain't confined to that. God is not confined to that. So, folks, I'm just telling you, we got to pray. And God's going to bring this country to its knees. And I don't mean like devastatingly. I just mean he's going to get us back into a place where we humbly have to depend on him again. And I don't care if people like that are not. I love you, no homo, no Obama. But I love you.
No Obama.
No Obama. No O. No O.
Ooh, there you go.
No
Obama.
No Obama.
I like no Obama.
No Obama's the way to go. Unless no, I'm not going to say it. But anyway, Royce, your thoughts before we get out of here? I get preachy, dude. I'm
preachy.
Like,
I love
get
it.
fired up. I get fired up.
No, I agree. There's definitely an evil darkness that is, there's a spiritual issue here. Above it all, above everything, America has a spiritual issue. They've actively, over the past, I don't know how long, have been removing Christ from everything, right? I don't believe that politics should be in the church, but I do believe that the church, and Christianity, and Christian belief should be in politics. I think it was. I think it was when the Constitution was written, and I think it should be now. And we have taken a step back and we've removed that.
Yeah.
But we're now starting to put Bibles back in schools, prayer back in schools. Very important.
God bless Oklahoma.
God bless Oklahoma, man. I think we're seeing a big, what's becoming a revival in America where people are turning back to Christ and people are seeing the evil. That is why we had such, not that Trump is a perfect person and we shouldn't compare him to someone like Jesus, obviously, right. But that's why there was such an abundance of winning that happened in this election, right? What was it? What's his line? So much winning. We're going to do so much winning. You're going to be sick of winning. That's right. But no, it's true.
You know what? Just for the clip later, give me 5 seconds of this, Royce. Come on.
A little bit of one of these again.
Yeah, there it is. It went, bam, bam, bam. All right. Yeah, so much winning. So much winning. No, we've seen so much winning on the conservative side that is notably the more Christian in their beliefs than the left. And that is because there is a massive eye-opening thing that is going on in the U.S. and people are seeing what's going on, especially when one of the last moves of the Democrat Party, while they still have power, is to escalate a world war. Yeah. People see that. People see what they did to our economy. People my age, very young, right, are seeing this when historically they didn't pay attention to it, right? I don't know what you were doing when you were 22, if you were looking at politics, but almost all of my friends, everybody that I talk to is heavily involved in politics, left and right. I've got friends on both sides. They all talk about politics. It is so woven into everything now. You can't ignore it. And that goes for people my age. And I think that's, again, why there's such this eye-opening thing happening with Christianity, and to say, hey, this is not what was intended. We have to take a step back. And I've said this in the past before too. Another reason why I think people my age are opening their eyes is because this very famous quote, and I'm going to butcher it. I always end up messing it up a little bit because it's a little bit confusing. But it in a sense, it goes,
strong men create easy times create weak men, and weak men create
Hard
good times,
times.
right? That hard times, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and then hard
that's
times
the
create,
cycle.
yeah, strong men.
Exactly. Strong men. Hard times create strong men. It's the cycle, right? It's a cycle. We're coming out of the cycle where weak men who have held power for a long time
Yeah.
created very, very hard times, where now it's difficult for me to buy a home. It's difficult for me to fathom buying a family. I see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel now that this election has gone the way that we wanted it to, with everything that's been talked about. But it's difficult for me to buy groceries, right? I'm not broke. I don't make nothing. I make a good amount of money for my age, and groceries are somehow still difficult.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane? You look back at the numbers from like what your parents paid for a house, and you're like, that's how much my car is. What do it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing the consequences of the weak men that we've had in office, creating the hard times for people my age. And now people my age are opening their eyes, and we're, I hope, becoming strong men who can turn this around, or at least elect the people that we trust are strong men to turn this around.
Well, brother, if they're anything like you, they're strong men. Royce, that's a great analysis, dude, and I couldn't say that any better. I remember when my son, he'll be 18 in a couple of weeks. I remember when we were considering, the 2016 election. He was 10, I think, 10 or 11 at the time. And I asked him, we were having lunch one day, and I asked him, I said, because he's really smart. I mean, like beyond, he's like ranked, like way off the charts in stuff. And so I asked him then, I said, what do you think? What's your take on this election? 11 years old. And he said, well, and he listed off the different ones, Cruz, Rubio, Jeb Bush, all these guys that were running at the time. And then he said, and I think Trump, Trump's the guy that's going to get us into a world war. And I was like, okay, interesting that's your takeaway on that. Obviously, stupid 11-year-old, he didn't know what he's talking about.
Even to be talking about world wars at 11 is crazy. I wasn't talking about world war or who I thought was going at 11. That's crazy.
But that was the stuff everybody was saying in those days. They were all saying Trump's going to get us into a world war. Trump is the first president that didn't get us into any new wars. Barack Obama was drone striking 7 nations simultaneously. The Afghan debacle with Joe Biden. And then we're in Gaza. We're in, all of this stuff going on in the Middle East, Ukraine. And here we are on the precipice of potentially World War III. I pray to God it doesn't happen. I want you guys to look at me. I'm not walking in fear. I'm not walking in fear. There's no fear in my eyes right here because, one, I know who I belong to. And I know the outcome of history, all right? I know the outcome of eternity. But I'm not walking in fear, and I don't want you to walk in fear either. So just settle down if that is causing you fear. But it's amazing to me that we didn't see a world war under Donald Trump. But the idea that he was going to push us into that, it's amazing to me, as you said, how many people in your generation, your age, younger men and women, they're actively involved in this, quote, politics. Because ultimately we know that this is a cultural, political war that we're in, and it affects so much. It's in our living rooms, day in and day out, whether it's from social media or, I'm personal friends with at least 3 people that Trump has now named to a cabinet position. Maybe more than that if I think about it. But I know, how small is the world? I know Donald Trump. Donald Trump knows me. How weird is that? How weird is that we live in a world where social media has made it so small that people like this, we've actually been brought together. So it's literally in our lives. So here we are, Royce. All right. Brother, I appreciate you. I'll get back with you in a second. Let me say goodbye to these fine folks. Royce
goodbye,
is the best
everybody.
Royce is the best producer in the world, and there's a reason why. You just heard it right there. All right, for the rest of you wild and crazy people, I love you. Relax, okay? It's going to be okay. We're going to be all right. We're going to make it. I think that Trump is going to get to that inauguration. We're going to get him in there. I think we're going to get these votes certified on January 6th. We're going to be okay. But again, my hope doesn't lie in Donald Trump. My hope lies in my God and my Savior. And I believe that many of you echo that exact same sentiment. and you declare that along with me. We're on day 45. I posted the prayer a little bit late today because I've been praying about what to pray about. And what I posted was not the direction I was planning to go. But here we are. I try to be sensitive to these things. WatchChad.com is where all the fun stuff is. I want you to come to a comedy show. Again, our comedy show is not a church service. It's not a political rally. It's not a motivational event. It's not an inspirational speech. It's a comedy show. So I want you to come out. Bricktown Comedy Club this weekend, all weekend long. Then Thanksgiving next week. And there's a lot of cool stuff that's happening for us, and it's just really cool right now. But check out the schedule. Come see us. Go shopping at prathertees.com. Get the Make America Pray Again shirt. Wear it as a message out there, because that's my prayer, that God will make us pray again. The fact that he can make me pray every day the way that he is, and I'm the one who's always said, I try to stay in constant communication with God no matter what I'm going through. But the fact that I'm sitting down every day and disciplining myself to write these things out and study the scriptures so that we can, I don't even want to say lead you in prayer, just so that we can pray together. If God can do that for me, man, God can do that in your life. And I'm seeing some powerful things happen. I'm also seeing some incredible attacks happen. But boy, the breakthroughs that are coming are amazing. You guys, I love you. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you share this episode with your family and your friends. I hope we give you a message of hope. And, I love you guys. No Obama. And so here's where we are, America. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll still be on the map, and we'll just keep on rocking and rolling. In the meantime, like, share, rate, review where podcasts are offered. We appreciate you so much. Hit that like button and tell everybody you know about the Chad Prather Show. On behalf of Royce, I'm Chad. We'll talk to you later. Love you. God bless you. Bye.